Algebra 1 students, welcome to your 5.4 notes. Today we're going to look at the point-slope form of a line. We've already looked at the slope-intercept form. Today is a new form, point-slope. This is my favorite way to write a linear equation and also to graph those equations. I hope you'll find a way to appreciate it as well. So let's take a look at this, and apologies for the music. It's a request. What can I do? All right, so we've already studied slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, but today we're looking at an alternate form that we call point-slope. So if you have a line that has a slope m and passes through the point x1, y1, so just any values, x and y, it doesn't matter which point it is on the line, we just need a point, then you can write the equation of the line like you see here, y minus y sub 1 equals the slope times x minus x sub 1. Very simple way to write a linear equation. It works out quite nicely. So let's do that. Let's have a little practice actually just simply writing the equations. We're going to write them in point-slope form. So remember, when we look at a problem like these four on this slide, you're talking about ordered pairs that go x1 comma y1, and then your slope is given to you as 4 in this case. And so we're going to go ahead and use that point-slope formula. Y minus y sub 1, that's minus negative 7, so I'm going to write it as plus 7, equals the slope times x minus x sub 1, which in this case, x sub 1 is also 4. All right, let's try the next one. Same idea. And by the way, you can just leave it in point-slope form if it doesn't say to change it. This is a great linear equation. You can use it that way. All right, so the next one, number 2, y minus 5 is equal to, and then we'll have negative 1/3 as the slope, times x minus 0. Now some of you might be saying, well, it seems kind of silly to have a minus 0 there. So if you really wanted to, you could rewrite that as y minus 5 equals negative 1/3 x. That would be also acceptable. Either of those are fine. All right, why don't you pause the video, do 3 and 4 on your own, and then compare your answers to mine. All right, welcome back. You can see on 3 and 4, I've plugged in the two ordered pairs as well as the slope. Now again, on number 4, we had a 0. We could have just written y equals 2/5 times x plus 3 and left the minus 0 out of it. The minus 0 doesn't change a thing. All right, let's work on how we could use this kind of information to graph a line. The nice thing about the point-slope form is we actually already have enough information to go straight to the graph, because when you think about this, I have one ordered pair, that's the point 2, it's coming from here, and negative 3, and I also know the slope, which is negative 4/3. So I'm basically working right here the opposite direction of what we did on the last several problems, where we were given a point and a slope and we plugged it into the equation. Here I'm taking the equation and pulling out the point and the slope. And by the way, notice it's called point slope form of a line. Interesting name, isn't it? Very creative. So here's your point, 2, negative 3. Your slope is negative 4/3. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 and left 3. Of course, you could have gone down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 and right 3 to get your slope. And then we essentially just need to connect those dots, and we have a line that matches what you see here. All right, trying to put arrows at the end, struggling here. All right, why don't you guys give number 6 a shot on your own? So pause the video, go. All right, you can see my work again here. We have a slope of 1/3, and we go through the point negative 4 and 5. Again, I'm just pulling that information right out of the equation and plugging it in so that I have a graph. All right, let's take a look at these next two. And again, working a little bit different direction. This time we're graphing it, or excuse me, it already is graphed, and we're writing the equation. Well, if I'm going to write the equation, I need some points. So let's look at number 7. I see that I have a nice point here, and then I'm trying to find another nice integer value. It looks like right here is a good point, and I want to count the slope. So I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right 3. That's some key information. M is equal to 5 thirds. Note that we also have a couple of points here. You could use either one of these. I'll just use the point 0 and 3. That seems simple enough. And if I know the slope is 5/3 and I know that I'm going through the point 5, 3, I could go ahead and write my equation. Y minus 3 equals 5/3 times x minus 0. All right, again, let's do number 8 on your own. So pause that video. Here's a little hint for you. I'm going to mark 2 points that you could use to help answer number 8. So pause the video and do number 8 on your own. All right, welcome back. You can see what I did here. Now, note that my slope originally was -3/6. I went ahead and simplified that to -1/2, and I chose the point -6, 0. Now, keep in mind, if you use the point 0, -3, your equation would look a little different. You'd still have a -1/2 here, but it would be y plus 3 and then x minus 0. So that's one thing about point slope. There are times when one answer might look different than another. It's okay. It's just one of the things that some people don't necessarily love about point slope. I don't have a problem with it though. All right, write an equation point slope form of the line that passes through the given points, and then we're going to change that equation to slope intercept form. Now let me walk you through this process. The first thing we have to do here is find the slope. So the slope between these 2 points would be 0 minus -2 divided by 2 minus 4. So that's 2 over -2, or just simply -1. So we can go ahead and write our point slope form. I'm going to choose the first point for -2. You could definitely choose 2, 0, and you could even argue that that would be an easier ordered pair to choose. All right, so there's our point slope form right there. It doesn't stop on this problem though. It says to write it in slope intercept form. That's your y equals mx plus b. So what I'm going to do is actually distribute that -1. So I'll have -1x plus 4. And then I need to subtract 2 from each side. And there's our slope intercept form. Y equals -x plus 2. Let's do the same thing on number 10. I know this process may seem like it's fairly complex. You'll get the hang of it. You got to be able to find slopes. That's something that's hugely important here. So we got 6 minus 1 and -3 minus -7, which I just wrote as plus 7. So that would be 5/4. Again, it doesn't matter which point you choose. I'll go with the first. Y minus 1 is equal to 5/4 times x plus 7. There's your point slope form. Just like we did on 9 though, we need to change it to slope intercept. So I'm going to start by distributing the 5/4. I know you guys love fractions, so this will be good fun for you. 5/4 times 7 would be 35/4. And we need to add 1 to each side. Now we know that 1 is exactly the same as 4/4. That may help you a little bit. And we'll have y is equal to 5/4 x plus 39/4. Now some of you may prefer, instead of writing 39/4, to write 9 3/4, something like that is totally fine. I'm fine with an improper fraction like 39/4. So, all right, go ahead and pause the video. Give it a shot on number 11 on your own. I know it's a little involved, but do your best and see how you do after you're finished with it. All right, welcome back. You guys could see my work. Let's kind of walk through what I did here, just so if you made any mistakes, you'll have a chance to catch it. First things first, you have to find the slope. And the slope in this particular case was 3. You got that by 3. I did 3 minus -3 divided by 5 minus 3. You might have done it the other order. That's okay. It's 6 divided by 2, which is just simply 3. Plug in your slope. I chose the first point, 5, 3. Again, if you prefer 3, -3, that's totally fine. That would work as well. You'd get the same answer down here of y equals 3x minus 12. All right, let's take a look at a little application problem here. A family membership at the local gym is a linear relationship. The Smiths have paid $290 for 4 months of membership, and the Collins have paid $590 for 9 months. Our first job here is to write an equation that models the cost in terms of number of months. Now, it's kind of a strange question perhaps when you look at it this way, but we've got to find slope. It's really just a point slope problem here. So I'm going to find the slope, which is going to come from 590 minus 290 divided by 9 months minus 4 months. 9 minus 4, and that would be 300 divided by 5, or just simply 6. Whoops. 60, not 30 divided by 5, 300 divided by 5. And what that comes down to is, if you were to label that, that would be dollars per month. That's the rate at which they'd be paying. Okay. However, there's also a starting point here, which we'll deal with in just a moment, but we can use point slope to answer that question. So I'm going to use the ordered pair, and you have to think about these as ordered pairs. 4 and 290 is one of the ordered pairs, and the other is 9 and 590. 9 months is $590. 4 months is $290. So what I'm going to do here is actually pick one of them. I'll choose the smaller of the two and plug it in. So y minus 290 is equal to 60 times x minus 4. Using that point slope again. All right, so let's go ahead and simplify. It doesn't say that you need to change this away from point slope, so perhaps I could have just left my numbers as they were, but I'm going to go ahead and change it to slope intercept. A problem like this tends to make a little more sense in slope intercept form. So here it is, y is equal to 60x plus 50. All right, we have one follow-up equation. Oh, I've made one mistake here. I don't know if any of you guys caught it. It gave us variables c and m. So I'm going to change y to c and x to m. Almost missed that. Not a big deal, but I'm trying to follow instructions for once, and there you go. All right, so c is 60m plus 50. All right, last question here. What does it cost for membership for 1 year? That would, of course, be 12 months, so we would do 60 times 12 plus 50, so the cost would be 720 plus 50, or $770. All right, folks, that is that. I know that these notes do have perhaps some challenges in them for you, but I think it's very possible for you to handle this and to do very well. So, work hard, come to class ready to ask questions. Have a spectacular day.